Hello, everybody. Welcome to Load Bearing Beams. I hope it's not that awkward moment when we have a podcast where I don't know.
Oh, we've done it again.
I'm Matt Stokes.
And I'm Laci Roth.
We're joined in the room, in person, by our beloved friend. Who are you, beloved friend?
Yeah, who are you?
Caleb Hogan.
Hi, Caleb. Welcome.
Knew it.
Back to the show for the first time in just 7 years. Since you were on our Nacho Libre episode.
My skin has completely replaced itself since you've been here.
I'm going to let you know, Matt, I watched a video that you made that was like, where am I lower ranked than, was it Letterboxd? And Nacho Libre was on that list.
Oh, yes,
You're
yes,
wrong.
yes.
That movie's still great.
I think I might be. Yeah, a lot of those were from old episodes of the show.
We're going to redo Napoleon Dynamite because we suspect Matt's an idiot.
So if this video was if you're a pro level of member of Letterboxd, it'll give you like stats like you rate these movies lower than the average user, or you rate these movies higher than the average user. And so I made videos out of both. And lower than average, Nacho Libre was one of them. And I looked back and was like, I bet it's good. I don't know. The things I remember about it are good.
Man, how embarrassing! You used a picture of my avatar, but before its hair was cool.
We're looking at the avatar you made of Caleb from back then.
It's our very first logo, and it is embarrassing.
It's great. I think it looks great.
I think it's one of your best.
That haircut?
Of Caleb,
I
not of
him.
you. Yeah.
I love him. I'm talking about my avatar.
No, that avatar looks spiffy.
My hair's not black and I don't have a shaved head, man.
No, okay.
All right.
What do you want me to do?
You're rocking the Rachel in that photo.
I really am. I look like a Karen.
Yeah.
All right. So what are we doing? We're doing a movie called That Awkward Moment that Caleb brought to our attention from 2014. And I want to ask you about your history with this movie and why you brought it to our attention. But when we were texting about this movie when we watched it, and I had never seen this movie. I'd heard of it, but I'd never seen it before. And what really struck me about it is it's a couple of things. So the actors in this movie are all fascinating, early part in their career, people who went on to, fame and fortune and stuff. So it's interesting to just see them all there. But this really seemed like a time capsule of 2014, a time when Laci and I were married and, owned a house and stuff. And it's like, I remember 2014. That was a fucking different world. That seems like it was 200 years ago. And it was an incredible time capsule of a movie. And so if you look in the description of this episode, you can find links to a bonus video we did where we suggested movies from the present that we think are going to make good time capsules in the future.
Guys, I don't often say you should go listen to that, but this time, it was pretty good.
It was really good. You can find that on our Twitter, Load Bearing Pod, our Blue Sky, Load Bearing Beams, our TikTok, Load.Bearing.Beams, and our Instagram, Load Bearing Beams. That's where you can find all of that, also in the description. Okay. That awkward moment. Caleb, tell us about your history with this movie and why you wanted to talk about it.
Okay, so there's a class of movies that among my friend group, am I the only one that will see, which is these broad comedies starring these, basically Zac Efron. I think I've seen every single one that he's done. I saw Baywatch. I watched Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates.
Oh, what?
And I would all go see these in the theaters. I'm a big theater person.
Yeah.
Yes.
And no one would go with me. This would be like a 10:30 a.m. showing, me and one other dude just rocking out with Zac Efron.
Just knowing how to have a good time. That is something you've always known how to do in just the most wholesome sense.
And so I saw this, I thought Zac Efron was very funny, and I went to go see it. I also was a big Miles Teller fan at the time. I'd seen The Spectacular Now, and I think Whiplash had just come out, if I remember
Later
correctly.
that year.
Okay, then I saw The Spectacular Now, and I was like, that guy's pretty talented.
Which one says Miles Teller?
The
Daniel.
The other
Wallace.
white person in the movie.
No, Wallace is Michael B. Jordan.
Oh, right.
And so I went and saw this in the theaters in New York. I also happen to live in New York at the exact same time, in the exact same neighborhood where they were when this movie came out.
So this is like a documentary about your life.
Basically.
You were just going out with the bros every night.
I was like, wow, I walked past Pete Tavern. They walked past Pete's Tavern.
Yeah.
But you built out your roster of girls, right?
Yes, that is.
Yeah, just little girls.
Exactly right.
Tiny babies.
Did it bug? I've said this before. It bugs me when adult women are called girls and adult men are called boys, and they keep saying girls in this movie.
Okay, it bothers me less than when they call them ladies. There's something more patronizing.
I love lady.
No,
it's funny.
it depends on how it's used, but it's okay, you're almost there. I'm no longer a girl. I'm a lady, but what am I actual?
I think multiple ladies is okay. Singular lady, very bad. Hey, lady.
This
It's
lady
funny if
over
you say,
here.
"Hey, lady."
Okay, I'll
Hey
point
Lady
it out.
Is it reminds you of the Beastie Boys?
Well, it's because
Yeah.
they have a song called "Hey, Lady."
Yeah, exactly.
So that's how you made that connection.
I saw this movie in theaters. I loved it. This is right up my dumb alley. You know, I think Matt has made this joke before that I pretty much like every movie in existence. This qualifies as one of every movie in existence. So I very much enjoyed this movie.
Yes.
The pictures moved, you know?
So, I mean, did you ever see it again after theaters?
Oh, yes, multiple times.
Okay.
No,
What did you like so much about it?
Okay, so I think that Zac Efron and Miles Teller are very, very funny in this movie. And to your point, it is a stark reminder of I didn't necessarily live the same womanizing lifestyle that they did, but it reminded me of like being in New York and that like vibe of like, we should go out, we should go hang out with our friends. Everyone lives in these small apartments and like late nights and just being, it reminded me of being young is what it felt like.
We're not always going to be in our 20s. We're in New York. We're living the dream. We need to make the most of this time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This
Let's
is-
get coffee again and again
this
and
is
again.
the life in my very early 20s before I met Laci. It's like, this is the exact life I wanted to lead for some reason, because like I'm not social at all. I wouldn't have done any
sorry.
of this.
Yeah, let's just look to your stint in college to know that you would not live that life.
Yeah. And why I tried to move to New York for 3 weeks.
I'm sorry. I'm also sorry about that.
That's okay. It's okay. Yeah. I think for some reason, this is the exact thing I was envisioning, which I'm just a bad match for. So
Plus all the walking.
I like the walking.
You're good at walking, but your body hates it.
So you could even say I'm walking here when I'm there.
Oh,
Okay.
cup of Joe, slice of pizza.
I love to get a slice. How many?
When you say that.
Were you often walking around with your bros in unbranded white coffee cups that you carry?
In fingerless gloves? Tell me yes.
Never fingerless glove. And I did not have nearly as good of a jacket game as they do
Those
in this
jackets
movie.
are fantastic. Mhm.
But you told me you were not sure if this movie is good.
I wasn't sure if it was good, and then I watched it again. I said, "Yep, it's good." It's
Okay,
good.
but that makes it a great load bearing beam. There needs to be some uncertainty there, and it's interesting. We don't usually talk about movies that are so recent. I mean, this movie's 10 years old, but usually we're doing things from the 90s or earlier. It was really interesting to see a relatively new movie, but to see a world again that is gone, has evaporated. I mean, these people have jobs. Can you imagine?
Like insurance probably.
And watching it back, there's certainly things that like I didn't like this time. And we can go into those in detail, but I still thought it was a good movie. I'm excited to hear what you guys have to say if you hate it, because that I think is a lot of the things that that I enjoy.
What did you think, Laci?
I hate that I liked it. I gave it a 3. I'm sorry, I'm already telling you the star rating, but God damn, if they're I totally love the humor and the shitty, but I could be nice, but maybe I'm a shit. Maybe I'm nice. You're not like every other girl. And I was like, I'm not like every other girl. I could turn you Zac Efron, that kind of thing. Worked for me.
Yeah, I mean, you were laughing. We were both laughing a lot.
Yeah.
But I was a lot more annoyed with it. I don't hate this movie at all. I think it has its charms. Most of the charms are this is a really great cast.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I don't know that this director, who has never directed another movie, this was his first script. It feels like a first script. And I just would like to see all these people in the hands of somebody who maybe knew how to make a better comedy.
So wait, this was his first movie?
And only.
His only movie that he directed. This was also his first script that he wrote. Or no, his first produced script. He's gone on to write. He wrote. His name is Justin Marconi, or more. I will tell you in a minute.
Okay.
Morica. He wrote recently. He wrote the movie The Unbearable Weight of Unlimited Talent, or the Nicolas Cage movie.
I saw that a couple weeks ago.
That was pretty good. And then he wrote the Beverly Hills Cop the new Legacy sequel.
Axel F. I didn't see that one.
Yeah, but this felt like a first film a lot. and maybe you just needed somebody who knows how to like balance tone a lot better, who knows how to get better performance, more naturalistic performances out of these actors. But their charm breaks through. I like all these people.
Doesn't it make you wonder, like, what happened during this that made it to where he never made another movie? I mean, because it was like it was a reasonable hit. There's no reason he wouldn't get an opportunity. So someone was mean to him, and I want this investigated.
My guess is he bet on Imogen Poots and lost.
What is up with it? And does she have the ability to change her last name? Because maybe she should just do that.
But I think like 90% of the work is that her name is Imogen Poots. Like, you're never going to forget it.
I don't know who that is. I'd never seen her before.
Well, yeah, what would you?
I don't think I've seen her since. I'm sure she's been in stuff.
She's in stuff. She's in.
But you seem to hate her.
I don't think she's good in this movie.
Oh, really?
I like that she's not typical. I mean, she's gorgeous.
Yeah,
but she's not polished. And she's got a tooth messed up, which I feel like you never get to see that anymore.
She was in this movie Vivarium with Jesse Eisenberg. She was in the Cameron Crowe show Roadies. He did a TV show. She was in 28 Weeks Later is probably her big one. She's good. I mean, that's a good movie. I think that she's pretty good. It's just she's so British and she has a very bad American accent. Yes. And I'm kind of obsessed with.
Maybe that's what I'm sticking on. It's like she does not sound like she is from the Midwest.
Hello, it's good to meet you here in Brooklyn.
They're not even in Brooklyn. They're in Manhattan the whole time.
I can't even remember where I am.
Talk about your time capsules. Let's do the minimalist movie cover while we're all sitting on a sofa showing our personalities in the look.
They are banking solely on the star power of Zac Efron on this poster, because I don't think Michael Jordan's truly broken out yet.
No, or Miles Teller. Because they have bloopers at the end of the movie. Yeah. This is a blooper movie where they say, like, he's like, the paparazzi are outside, and Miles Teller clearly is a little bitter. He's like, they're here for you.
And he's like, yeah, I know. I feel like Lars in The Real Girl, I feel like there's multiple movies that feature a sofa and then a big blank wall, and it just says the movie title. It just looks, the movie art cover itself, the movie poster, is a time capsule. I just wanted to point that out.
Okay. And I hate to do this. Okay. So in 2012, I wrote and self-published a novel.
Oh, fucking Christ.
Called Generation Y, WHY. The cover of which has the three main characters sort of sitting like this. And, I'm proud that I wrote a novel, but whenever I think about it, I twitch in embarrassment. The characters in that book talk like the characters in this movie. Like, everything's like a very witty, very clearly written thing that's like, here's my philosophy, man. Here's the rules. You got to have your roster. And when you get to that so moment, that's when you're out. And that's how all the characters in my stupid book talked like.
I'm into it.
I was like, I'm trying to like make a statement about what our generation is all about right now,
Smart. Quick.
So I think that was also affecting how I viewed this movie.
It's the same reason you didn't like Girls as much as I liked it.
This was also kind of like Girls.
Yeah.
I effing love Girls.
I love Girls too, but because he too much identifies with what's her nose? Say her nose.
Lena Dunham.
Yeah, it makes him go.
Do you know what? I always found it ironic that the best characters on the show were the guys.
The guys.
I mean, yeah. Adam Driver and Ray. Alex Karpovsky. That guy needs to be in stuff. I love him. There's so little information about this movie on the internet. The director. Who I keep forgetting his name. Sorry, let me just say it. Let me just look it up and say it.
Okay, let's say it. Look at his stupid ass. Is he from Disney?
Oh yeah, I think this is High School Musical 3.
Oh, see, I wasn't a High School Musical. I've never seen any High School Musical.
They're very good.
I'd have. It's because it's where that really funny. Is she Australian? The blonde. That's the whole joke is she's overweight.
Rebel Wilson?
Rebel Wilson.
Is she from
She's
that?
not in High School
She's not in
Musical.
that. Then what am I thinking of?
What are you thinking of?
I'm thinking of another like talent-based movie.
Oh, she's in Pitch Perfect.
Pitch Perfect, yes.
That's it. So I've never seen a High School Musical movie.
Okay. The movie was directed by Tom Gormican.
Wait a second. Can he sing?
Oh yeah.
Like for real? With
Yeah.
his body?
Yes, he so
Fuck
all right,
him.
we're gonna go history lesson of High School Musical for a second.
That might be what we're about to do.
In High School Musical 1, Zac Efron did not sing.
Really?
It was tracked by someone else.
Oh.
In High School Musical 2 and 3, he did sing.
Okay. All right. Good work,
right.
Zach. I mean, it's like Miles Teller, also a musician, also did his own drumming in Whiplash.
And was supposed to be the lead in La La Land.
I like that idea.
And then he got dropped.
Not a good dancer.
Hollywood was betting big on Miles Teller for a little while.
I like
what's
him.
that's what's so interesting. So these three guys, so That Awkward Moment, which stars Zac Efron, Michael B. Jordan, and Miles Teller. I think three guys who in 2014 you would say these guys are going to be A-listers for the next 20 years, and it kind of hasn't really happened for any of them. They've had good and interesting careers, but I think and I'll go through each of them because again, there's so little information about this movie online. I think the only other movie that I could find less about that we've covered is the movie Loser.
Don't you think? Oh God, and that was just like a silo. Don't you think that it's less about these three guys and more about the fact that they're just really aren't movie stars anymore? There's not the pipeline for it.
1000%.
There's not the attention span or like the taste for a letdown, for risk.
So yeah, I think there is a gap, but there are still movie stars.
There are Emma Stone.
Like Chalamet is broken.
Chalamet,
He's,
Yes.
a star.
he's the big star.
I heard that the Bob Dylan movie's good, Matt.
Oh yeah, and like I mean, look, he did Wonka. That should
haven't
not
seen
have,
that.
It should not have been good,
and it
he
was.
carried it.
I love Dune.
No, he's clearly like he's a young star, but he's almost like the Efrons are like an older generation, and Chalamet is like step aside, grandpa. But
Really?
But Laci, you're exactly right. Like in the 90s, up and through then, like the 2000s, movie stars did romantic comedies, and they sort of just did like Harrison Ford. Oh, I'm a lawyer. I'm the president or whatever. Like that's what movie stars did.
Yeah.
You went to the movie because the star was in it, and those movies don't get made anymore.
Right.
And like, but if any of these guys did and they have done superhero movies, like that also wouldn't do anything for your career.
Nope.
I was about to ask,
They're so disposable.
what superhero movie they did, and then now I remembered they both did the
Black Panther.
Well, yes, but before that,
they did Fantastic
together.
Four.
They did a terrible Fantastic Four movie.
Yeah. So, okay, Zac Efron, who was by far the biggest deal of the three at the time. He's my age, born only a few weeks after me. How about that?
Oh my God, you have so much in common with him.
I know. Well, Caleb and I are the same age, and this movie, it's about our generation.
Grew up
Laci,
with you.
because these characters are exactly our age. But he's 25 years old when he
Stop
made
talking to me like I'm that much older.
that. Lacey's 4 years older than me. He was 25
You
years
don't look
old.
a day over the same age.
That's
as us.
exactly right. Mad age. Thank you so much.
He was 25 when he made That Awkward Moment. His first major role was on the WB show Summerland, led by Lori Loughlin. We all remember Summerland, I'm sure.
That sounds familiar.
But his big breakthrough was High School Musical in 2006.
Look at his face. Look
This
at
is
his
the
eyebrows.
thing. This is a thing that I only knew peripherally because of my sister, who's a lot younger than me, was obsessed with these movies, but I've never seen.
And Caleb.
Well, and then
It didn't go through osmosis. I sort of kept this one to myself.
I need to see them.
he's in Hairspray in 2007, and then 17 again in 2009, and then he attempts to jump into adult roles. He's in Richard Linklater's movie Me and Orson Welles in 2009. That Awkward Moment in 2014, but the big breakthrough for him is Neighbors the same year, later.
Which
that
I
year.
loved him in.
Yeah, he's great, and that was like people's takeaway from that movie is like, oh, Zac Efron's great.
He's like Ryan Reynolds in that because he's so gifted visually, it works best for me when he's an asshole.
Which he is an asshole in Neighbors, and he's
Right.
not like he is an asshole, but the movie doesn't know he's an asshole in this movie.
No, I think they know he starts as an asshole. I think that's why this movie kind of works when you don't expect it to, is that the movie's kind of against what he starts as in a way, because he finds happiness being not like that with the roster.
Yeah, but I think in this movie he is not as overt of an asshole. Like
Yeah.
in Neighbors, he's just like straight up a
Right. That's
jerk.
his
But in
point.
this,
Yeah.
he is a very particular kind of asshole
Yes.
where it's like, I am going to say all of the right things, but my intentions and outcomes are not.
Don't you kind of
Great.
call bullshit? And this is, I think, why it bothers all of us. Is someone who goes through life looking like that, That's what pisses me off. They don't have to say right things. I had an extremely good-looking best friend in high school. She said nothing. Like, she was the most boring fucking thing ever. I'm sorry. Do you know who you are? You probably don't. But she was gorgeous, and it made me fucking crazy. Like, say something interesting. You know nothing. So it doesn't gel for me. He shouldn't have all the reps. He shouldn't have all of the. He wouldn't have needed them. He should be dull as a fucking butter knife.
If you're good looking, stop doing stuff. That's what we're saying.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if you're good looking, you haven't done stuff. You haven't cultivated a real personality where you have to try to get people's attention and keep it. Like us, like this ugly duckling from goth culture who just wasn't understood in high school. Okay, we can go.
No, I'm just going to tell you guys, I never developed a personality. I've always been super attractive, so it's been life's easy street.
You have
I've always resented that. It's like what we were saying when we talked about the substance. Life is about the friction. That's what makes you a person.
Yes, and he's already a smooth stone. He's already born a smooth river stone. He didn't need to be sanded down over time.
I think that we react strongly to when these people are our age or younger, because you look at a person from a previous generation who is attractive as hell.
Like who?
George Clooney.
Like George Clooney.
No, that's
Laci
a little
hates
bitch.
George Clooney.
Fucking hate him.
Brad Pitt.
Yeah, Brad Pitt. You're like, yeah, and I love him as an actor. But when they come up and you're watching them come up, like me with Chalamet, I'm like, you fucking twerp, shut up.
Wait, you think you're the same age as Chalamet?
No, I'm saying
30.
Or when they're younger than us.
It's not that much of a difference.
When I see them come up. Right? Like we inherited, we take Leonardo DiCaprio as a given, but people older than us are like, that little fucking little piece of shit.
That makes sense.
What were we saying? Oh, okay.
I don't know.
So Zac Efron, I think the hit for him was supposed to be Baywatch in 2017, but it didn't. It was a flop. But the same year he was in The Greatest Showman. That was a pretty big hit.
And that's funny too, because that was before we were completely saturated with Reed. It was still niche. There was like Starsky and Hutch and like Get Smart, like different things that were like, oh, that's fun that you're bringing that back. Baywatch should have fit right into that.
They had two bombs that year that were both the same thing. They had Baywatch and Chips.
Chips, yeah.
I flew to Norway that year. This would be 2016, and I watched both Baywatch and Chips on the flight.
Oh,
I did not sleep, and Baywatch is better than Chips. Chips is very bad.
Did Baywatch not understand that it was beloved for its badness? Because if you miss that part of it.
Both of them were trying to do 21 Jump Street. That was Hollywood saying, like, what's our next 21 Jump Street?
I was trying to get at,
And I'll let you know my hot take. Baywatch failed because of The Rock.
Oh, The Rock
refuses to be anything but exactly what
jacked.
Yes.
No, The Rock hasn't.
And the star. He won't share.
People are coming around to what I've been saying for a long time. Yes. The Rock kind of sucks. The Rock hasn't been good since.
Kinda.
The Rock hasn't been good since when?
Moana.
Oh, he's good in Moana.
Fast Five? I don't know.
Oh my God. Wait, time out. We're going to have to take a little break here. He's incredible in Fast Five.
That's what I'm saying.
Unironically, one of the best action films of the 20th
Yes,
century.
and he is great at it. I think that
if you're a Fast and Furious hater, you don't have to watch any other movie. You will lose nothing. Go watch Fast Five. It's incredible. Practical effects.
But what do they do after that movie? They make him part of the team. They make him lovable. But he's an asshole in that movie.
Oh, but they kick him out eventually. He's not in some of the later ones.
I enjoyed him in was it Jumanji?
Yeah, okay. Those are he's fine in those.
It's hard to really. What is it? It's like he should not be allowed to have too much control of what he's doing. You give him what he's asked for in the writer, and that is it. And then you try to like make him interesting on the fringes. Like you're just trying to get something new out of him, or put his only fucking thing in just the exact right spot. That's the only thing you do with him. And not everybody has energy for that.
And back to Zac Efron.
Oh, right. Hey, Zac.
But Baywatch was supposed to be a big hit for him. It wasn't, but it's been like a bunch of ups and downs for Efron since then. But he, last year he played Kevin Von Erich in The Iron Claw, a great performance.
Which I refuse to see, but I understand.
You shouldn't see it. No, it's devastating.
Do you not like sad movies?
I can't.
Don't.
See, I don't mind sad movies, but this is punishment. This movie.
Okay, I won't.
And they even had to make it less sad than the real life story. But as a great performance dramatically and physically, he and the bear. What's his name?
Jeremy Allen White.
Yeah, doing actual moves, full camera. They're
Right.
Yeah,
I will say Zac Efron shares one thing in common with The Rock, which is like he is willing to turn his body into whatever it needs to be.
Is
for
that
a
true?
role. Yes.
Like he will make it ugly. That's what I'm saying. The Rock won't make his body ugly.
Go watch in Baywatch. He gets shredded. In the Iron Claw, you won't see it, but he is like obnoxiously big in a way that is weird. It is not like it is.
Fine.
yeah.
It is beyond.
Because it's old school big wrestling guy.
Yeah, it is beyond normal, like the normal limits of his own body.
I got you.
He has gone beyond, and it makes it strange as opposed to like to your point on The Rock, like always looking normal. He goes beyond that.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, Michael B. Jordan
I love Wallace.
was 26 at the time of production. He was a child model for brands like Toys R Us. And then, of course, he's in the first season of The Wire in 2002 as Wallace.
They kill him off.
The heartbreaking Wallace. Spoiler alert, he gets killed. And let's see, he was in
Just go straight to season 2.
Friday Night Lights in 2009. 2012, he's lead in a movie called Chronicle, directed by Josh Trank.
Fun little movie.
Yeah, that is the reason he got the Fantastic Four movie and he brought along Michael B. Jordan. His big dramatic breakthrough was Fruitvale Station in 2013, directed by Ryan Coogler. And then in 2015, he has the Fantastic Four alongside Miles Teller, a big flop. Doesn't do anything for any of the actors. But then the same year, he's in Creed as the lead, an enormous hit.
Look at how everyone can get muscles, but not everyone's physique is made to have. Look, he's perfect. Just balls of muscles.
He, he's the villain in Black Panther, and there was even some awards buzz for him for that movie. I think most people think he's the best. He's the best performance in that movie.
Yeah.
He was a successful sequel to Creed, and then he directed Creed 3. But I think outside of Creed and Black Panther, the Michael B. Jordan superstardom hasn't really happened.
Right.
And I wonder why.
Racism.
Well,
There's only so many.
I think he's got something big coming next.
I was looking. He's going to do a remake of the Thomas Crown Affair.
He's got that. Is it? He's in a freaking vampire movie. I think.
I love the Thomas Crown.
With. Is it Coogler that's directing something like a vampire hunter? He's got something big coming.
That would be try. Good. I mean, yeah, I'd love to see he and Coogler do something that isn't Marvel or
They're
IP.
doing an original. So he did Fruitvale before this movie. Is this a scenario where he only did that awkward moment because his agent got him in before Fruitvale blew up?
That makes sense.
He got locked into it. And he's like, I got to do this movie now. Because if after Fruitvale, I don't think he would have done this.
I don't know.
If you could see the future.
But like this movie isn't embarrassing. I think like this is a logical thing to try.
But it's a step, and he had already gone the step above
Correct.
it. Yes.
He'd already broken out.
And when you're surrounding yourselves by these two guys who have so much comedic chemistry together, I think he's a great anchor for them and like a more heartfelt, straightforward, genuine person to their antics. But he's the third on the list.
Yeah, he is the third banana. So yeah, I think it makes sense. Miles Teller, also 26. You know, both Miles Teller and Zac Efron's dads, they worked at nuclear power plants. How about that? Now, how about this, though? Zac Efron's dad's name was Lenny. Can you guess what Miles Teller's dad's name was?
His dad's name is not Homer Teller. Is it Carl Teller?
It was no, neither of those. But they did both work at power plants. He studied at the Lee Strasberg Theater. He's a method actor. This
fucking guy.
This guy.
That weird eyebrow.
The Spectacular Now with Shailene Woodley in 2013, Caleb's favorite movie. And then 2014, Whiplash, where he plays the drums for real. That's the big breakthrough for him. He's in the Divergent movies. He's in the failed Fantastic Four movie. And I think people really turn on him. Everybody starts to really despise Miles Teller. Including me. I hated Miles Teller.
There's around this time, I think prior to Fantastic Four, there's a pretty infamous GQ article where they just like obliterate him.
Wait, why?
Because it is an interview. So it's like Miles Teller is there. It's not like it's not outside in perspective.
Okay.
And I think he just sort of comes off as a real big D-bag.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I think that also helps turn the tide.
Well, it's interesting. Like he's a guy who plays. He plays assholes, and it's like,
And you know why he's good at it? Because he might be one.
yes, but
I was kind of considering that when I was watching the bloopers. I'm like, I don't know if your actress next to you is having as much of time as you are.
but male stars have always been assholes, and we love them for it. We love Tom Cruise for being an asshole.
I don't love
for
Tom
some
Cruise.
reason.
I love Tom Cruise because he's fucking weird.
Well, but in Tom Cruise movies, he always plays an asshole who ends up like vindicated and
That's
correct.
fine. That's different from actually being one.
Okay.
We have too much access, goddammit.
He's in a 2017 movie called Only the Brave, a firefighting movie, which is directed by Joseph Kosinski. And that movie's very good. I only saw it recently. He's really good in it. That director then directed Top Gun Maverick and brought him over. And that movie made people think like, wait a minute, do I like him?
Oh, wait,
So that's kind of where we
in
are.
Maverick?
He's in Maverick. He is
He's Rooster.
Rooster.
He's the second lead of the movie.
I know. It's just-
Okay, you know Goose?
yeah, it's his son. Okay.
You got it.
So those are the three guys.
That's how you tell me something, Matt, like that.
I don't be mean about it.
No, I always start with the question, hey, you know?
No,
That's
see,
a-
you
Man.
give me a
And
win.
if you don't know, then I'm like, okay, yeah, if I hear it, he's the Rooster. The Goose's son.
But what you're doing is giving me a trivia win. I love trivia.
God, it's such a good way to approach Lisa.
Yes, and you do the opposite. Is
Matt,
when
just hit her with a you know.
no, because his fucking default is to ask you a question, and if you get it right, ask you another one until you get it wrong. He does the opposite.
But I'm not doing it to be mean.
But you're doing it.
Matt, I just want to let you know, when one wins, we all win, okay?
And sex.
I know that's true. I'm just going to try to keep it in mind. So again, there's nothing. Tom Gormican is the director and writer of the movie, and he doesn't even have a Wikipedia page. First director we've ever covered who doesn't have a Wikipedia page. So that's why we just listed the credits for these actors. And now we'll talk about the movie.
That was meaty too. This is gonna be a two-parter.
All right. There's a lot of, I noticed there's a lot of, in the opening credits, a lot of in association with. There's like 10
Yeah.
different.
There are so many, and they're all weird names.
Yes,
Yeah.
you've never heard of any of them.
Yeah.
Ninjas running amok or something like
I'm
that.
like, wait, this is everybody from my age group coming up with a stupid name.
Yes, you talked about a time capsule.
Three ninjas.
That's a time capsule.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
When the-
So
Because there
when
was
the production
two
companies
in
are
a
like,
row.
let's name our production company something really stupid.
Yep.
I went to college with a guy who was trying to do production, and his production company is called They Make Glue Out of Horses Production, which would have fit in perfectly with all of the production companies that were here.
we hear Zac Efron in narration. He like literally says like, I bet you're wondering how I got here.
No, I'm not.
Probably best if I rewound.
This is a movie. You're supposed to tell me.
And he starts saying in the narration, every relationship arrives at a critical moment, a juncture between moving forward and moving on. I call that moment the so. And then we have a montage of ladies being like, so where's this going? Yes.
Anybody think that that's a better name for the movie? But
was just about
awkward
to
was such a
ask.
poignant word. It was such an word.
What would you call it? The so
The
moment?
so moment or the so.
That's just so the movie's working title was Are We Officially Dating? Which is what it was released at in a bunch of countries. But yeah, that
Or
awkward
just
moment.
so ellipses. That's interesting too.
That's
Hard-
good.
That's hard for SEO
So
purposes.
question mark? You know?
So it's really so comma, and it really is
Yeah,
so ellipses.
You're right.
Yeah.
I was looking at the posters and stuff, and I remembered like the marketing for this movie. Like one of the posters has Imogen Poots, and it's like that awkward moment when you accidentally sexed your mom.
We can all relate to that.
And like it makes you think this is a very different movie from what it is. But I think they were just like,
It looks like grown up American Pie. That's what you think it is, and it's not.
It has some moments.
It does. Especially the horizontal dick.
I was going to say we'll get to horizontal using
a
the
lot
restroom.
of man, ass, and thigh in this movie. A lot of showing your friends your dick. You guys show each other your dick a lot.
I meant to bring this up when we get to that moment, but we might as well. We're here now.
We're at that D moment.
Yeah, there's a lot of them like peeing next to each other and crossing streams, and Michael B. Jordan just takes his dick out and like, here, guys. Yeah, now I think that there were two types of guy friends that I had. I had the normal ones like me and Caleb who don't want to that's for us in the Lord and to be ashamed of in secret. My friend was a show me his dick kind of guy. Like I went to the bathroom one time and he was there and he's like, hey, I got to show you something. I was like, oh, okay, what? And I look and there's his penis and he's like, ah.
That's a good gag.
Yeah, I told you and I told our kid that and you both laughed so hard. Like, that's classic.
Because of the way you did it. It's stupid.
You know, I shouldn't be laughing because it is very stupid, but the way you told the story is quite funny.
Thank you.
And it's so it's just, you know.
All right. So every relationship arrives at a critical moment, a juncture between moving forward and moving on. I call that moment the so. Thus begins. Every woman in the movie is called a girl, and he's with this girl, and she's like, so where is this going? And he's like, huh? I'm just drinking cereal out of a bowl or whatever.
It was coffee.
Oh, right.
In a cereal bowl.
And she says, I'm breaking up with you. But then in the narration, he's like, which is news to me because I didn't know we were in a relationship. So like this movie's all about
how women are stupid. I'm sorry, if I fucked you 6 times, one time per week, I don't think I'm your girlfriend. I think you're hooking up with me. Women are not stupid, Zac Efron.
Yeah, and it's a little bit on you, buddy. You gotta spell these things out for them, right?
He's purposely not.
Yeah, that's a good point.
No, he plays in the gray.
Yeah.
Well, that's Zac Efron. Zac Efron is Jason. We always try to say character names and not actor names on this show. I'm going to struggle with it in this movie because these are some bland names. So we meet Mikey, played by Michael B. Jordan, who goes into his apartment and his wife is there with an attractive man. And she's like, oh, this is my lawyer. And then we cut to the 3 main characters, Michael B. Jordan and Miles Teller and Zac Efron. They're having coffee and he's now explaining what happened. He went home unexpectedly and his wife was there with her lover, who is also her lawyer. And
which is convenient.
Yeah. And the characters are like, that's crazy. And like, he looks like Morris Chestnut. And like, who's Morris Chestnut? It's a very strange runner where everybody's confused about Morris Chestnut in this movie. They leave their coffee house and Miles Teller is Daniel. Daniel and Jason are now talking about the plight of their friend. And they're like, we need to get him a hooker. They're like, well, we can't get him a hooker. That's expensive. But what about these new New York Magazine hookers? They're like for the next generation. Yes, Laci.
This is part of my proof that the movie knows what it's the message, even if it's accidentally celebrating too hard the opposite message, which is this is right when I'm like, I'm not going to like this fucking movie. This man is going through a horrible fucking trauma of his wife admitting to intense sex and she's leaving him over and all this. And those guys immediately go, he needs to get laid. It's like, no, he needs fucking therapy. He needs to be reminded other people love him. He needs to reconnect with a hobby. He needs to do a lot of fucking things. It's not fucking fuck. He thinks he's bad at it. And so there's a callback at the end when Zac Efron's character is like fucking crushed. He turns to a guy who seems like he's going to give him fatherly advice, but really he's just a sad older version of Jason at the bar. And that fucking older club hopping idiot who's just an old man now says, you need to get some poontang or whatever he says. And Jason's just like, I don't want to become this man.
Yeah, he figures it out.
You just made that scene work for me because I was so baffled by that scene later in the movie. But yeah, that's a good. For you. Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it is. It's an interesting moment in time. Like we're past sort of there's no F slurs or anything in this movie. Yeah. These guys aren't so toxically masculine, but I think that 10 years from now,
but it's still very no homo in this movie.
There's a little bit of that, but I think maybe male friends now in their 20s are more like, hey, I'm here for you emotionally, and let's talk about it. Rather than like, dude, these guys grew up reading Bill Simmons. They think that's what we got to do is we got to go get you some pussy, man.
I feel for him the whole time. And then I'm like, wait, he's a doctor in New York. He's fine. He's fine. No.
They're all fine. But yes. So they go to their office. They work at a publishing company, just one of those made up movie jobs.
Right.
I work in publishing.
I work at Art Desk. My friends sit on Art Desk. He has no desk of his own. I do art. My friend talk about my art.
So Laci, you do graphic design, correct?
Yeah.
What do you think of their designs that we've seen?
I don't get. Okay, so I ended up liking his fucking like princess in New York.
The shoe one.
The shoe one.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's because you're a woman.
and
You're
of
triggered by shoes.
And of that time, when did Devil Wears Prada come out?
06.
See, it's exactly right at the same time. Anyway, no, but I love Mad Men, so I'm a sucker for a sales pitch, which is more of what that was. But yeah, no, I'm not impressed with his art style, and I really hate the little comic strip he sends to fucking Imogen.
It didn't look good
because her face, like you made you look good. She looks like an insane clown, like, and not the ICP kind. So
Well, he's nagging her. He knows what he's doing. Look how attractive I am, and you're okay.
I do not think so. I think he thinks he's being real smooth, just not giving a lot of care to the non-main character, since he's the main character in his heart. I don't think it's intentional. I think he's just an asshole.
I thought the book designs were, they're okay. I don't know.
They're
They
real
look like
basic.
beach reads is what it looked like to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of negative space. A lot of just not a lot done. I appreciate that it's real art and not like it's like photography or like, like real people. I appreciate any kind of illustrated thing.
But they start the scene, they go in to make their pitch about their book cover, and they just have a big blank page. And I thought that was the joke. He's like, hey,
I thought he wasn't prepared.
Our pitch is, that they're not prepared, but they're going to sell it as their idea is, what if we literally have a blank cover? And that they would all be like, ooh, I like it. But then he just draws the cover on it.
But it's a very minimal cover, and I think they weren't. That's a bad directing moment, because I do not know if that really was their plan all along or if they were winging it, and I think it matters.
Yes, and that happens all throughout the movie, and that's the fault of the director. I don't know, are these characters lying to each other?
Okay.
Are we not seeing what we're
Here's
supposed
the
to
problem. You can tell because these are like gifted comedians who have a lot of riz together, pardon my expression, and this director you can tell from the bloopers, was just like, just go. Just make as many big dick, orange dick jokes as you can make in a row. Let's do as many takes as you want. We'll take the best one. And just so happens like really good take here, then doesn't really perfectly match storyline there, and they don't bother to fix it. There's too much improv in the movie for it to be perfect.
And there's a couple of scenes where you can tell, because it's edited like a Judd Apatow movie, where
Yes.
they're like, just go off. Just give me 50. And we'll pick the best ones.
A lot of, and you can tell it's improv too, because there's a ton of them repeating each other. A ton of like, let's just do it. Let's just do it. Like, there's not a script.
So I think there's one scene in particular where this happens, and I think it's when the self-tanner, Michael B. Jordan, where Miles Teller says something, and there's like a moment of silence, and then they just start laughing. And they left it in the movie. I was like, there's no way that was scripted.
Where he laughs into his cough. Yes, no, where Miles Teller makes a joke, it doesn't land, but then he laughs at his own joke and makes his coffee spray up. And to me, that was one of the most endearing moments, because it's like, well, at least that's real.
Yeah,
you're going to just rattle off stupid jokes. You're going to land on the bad one and then laugh at yourself.
Well, but this movie has, and Miles Teller's my favorite of the three guys, and his relationship with Mackenzie Davis, they do the thing that Laci and I are always saying we want characters to do. They laugh at each other's jokes.
Yeah.
That's what they do the whole time with each other. And he keeps making jokes, and she can tell like it's a defense mechanism to not be. But I still like your jokes, so I like that. I think that they have some pretty good chemistry.
A very believable beginning to a relationship as well, with a young guy who's not totally jazzed that he met someone he really wants to settle down with before he's ready to settle down.
Yeah.
He's still resisting.
So they're at their office. This guy Fred comes up and he's like, "Hey guys, it's Fred."
I don't need fucking autism coded people being the butt of the joke when like it's not. He serves no fucking purpose. We're all pretty. Okay, Fred. Thank you.
There's a little bit of them bullying their coworkers, like Jim in the office.
Yes.
But this is Fred. You don't. This isn't the phone, Fred. I wrote down like this is my first script. I'm putting in every little observation I've ever had, because there's no reason for this to be in the movie.
You just knew a guy like this. Is there a message here? Like, okay, so this is like the new generation coming in to replace these old fashioned beliefs, because they have a very funny actor who's has a back and forth with Imogen. Like I know that woman. I've seen her in a million things, and she's like, "You haven't been the second wife yet, honey," or whatever the fuck she says. And I'm like, okay, there's some storyline here. There's some like, here comes the new kids, then they're going to take over. And it's like, it goes fucking nowhere.
Oh, yeah.
Fred has no role in this movie. The Office, the job has no character in this movie. And you think it's gonna.
The job is only there to say,
I have a job.
that plus why Zac Efron can draw.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. You need to know because it's so important.
Fucking James Cameron.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like, why do Zac Efron and Miles Teller do not need to work together?
No, it makes no fucking sense. And like, you two guys are already white. You already have that in common. Why do you have to further exclude your one black friend by also working together? I don't know. I just felt like the movie was making like these two guys same, this guy different.
I think
he
that's-
love wife, they love fuck, and it's just like, can't we give them more
We don't have
crossover?
time. We don't have time to give Miles Teller a distinct job and a distinct identity. So we'll just put him together. It's good. It's a problem.
Like he doesn't do anything.
Nothing. He sits on the desk.
Sell at that?
No.
He just sits on the desk and he doesn't even have a fucking chair.
Does he have a
They're
computer?
team.
No, he's at one long like communal WeWork desk, but it's clearly Zac Efron's.
Yeah, dude. I think maybe he doesn't work there. Maybe he just sits there.
I
Maybe
think
they
they're
just-
just like, they have the same schedule. Well, but then how does this fucking doctor get off all at the right time so that he can also go fucking clubbing? He's a doctor.
They're going out for their night of tomcatting. This is their first night. They're going to go out on the town and really expand their horizons. They need to get their friend laid because that's what every dude needs. So, first Miles Teller gives them each a Viagra. Every good action movie has a ticking clock. Okay. Out at the bar, they meet Mackenzie Davis. She's like their cool girlfriend who helps get them laid. And Mackenzie... Chels. Hey, Chels. At the bar... Imogen Poots is sitting across the bar, and she's ogling Zac Efron, and he goes over to say hello, but then this guy swoops in, and he's like,
Mark
"Hey,
Zuckerberg.
this kind of Mark Zuckerberg guy is like, hey, I'm going to buy you a drink," and then she gives.
Well, he's being forceful, so you're okay with him getting served because it's like calm the fuck down.
Oh yeah, she says no twice, and he's like, "No, I'm just gonna get you one."
Yep. And I have that. That has happened. There is expectation. They will follow you around if you accept a drink from a guy, if it's the wrong kind of guy, and it usually is, they will follow you around the club until you leave, thinking like you're going to reciprocate in some kind of way.
So she like gives this very annoying speech about how, see, you're not just buying me a drink. This means that after this, we're going to have to play beer pong and then go to your apartment in Murray Hill. And then, I hate it.
I think it's good. I think she's a certain kind of quip.
I can provide a little additional context here. Murray Hill is like the post grad.
Mm-hmm.
I went to Michigan, and I'm going to live in Murray Hill. And party with my bros there. So there is a certain type of person that she is needling and nailing in the actual.
And Murray Hill's Manhattan, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so you have to have a certain income.
It is like the 27 through like the low 30s.
Okay.
On the east side. And Murray Hill is a big multi-roommate place. So like you'll be like four people that all went to college together, throwing up fake walls to make it a 4-bedroom.
Uh-huh. Okay.
But
it just communicates. It's a little thing that communicates about.
It signals that she's a bit past that college life in a way that frat guy is not. And she's looking for, someone that sits at a long desk with his friend all the time.
Imogen Poots, British actress, has a very bad American accent in this movie.
I never noticed it until you pointed it out.
Yeah. Well, I think the thing is
It's just American.
It's just not American, and she's supposed to be like the Midwestern girl that moved to New York.
Right.
I just got here from Chicago. Yeah, but she's like, your roommate's off having sex with Hillary.
Or Emily.
She never said "duh bears," so I couldn't tell where she was from.
Some sausage. So Zac Efron, he comes in and he saves her from the annoying Murray Hill guy, and they really hit it off. And then the next thing you know, they're hooking up at her apartment. And after they have some fun, silly sex, he's looking around the apartment and gets lots of signs that, wait a minute, is she one of these call girls from the New York Magazine?
That's another time capsule word, hooker. No one says that anymore. They even commented on it in this movie that would have been an old-fashioned way to refer. And I think they actually have a couple of endearing things they say about fucking sex work in the exchanges until they ruin it. But
when they're like, you just
you
robbed her.
Yeah, that's her bread and butter. I was like, coming from a doctor, that's nice of you to say.
He after he has sex with her, now he starts worrying she's a call girl because she has a box of condoms and the same New York magazine that he read, and I guess that's and an envelope of cash.
The envelope of cash, I get it.
I will say this had one of the funniest lines of the movie. This whole scene. It's when he calls Miles Teller for advice, and he goes,
"My dick is perpendicular to my body."
No, that all seems funny. But when he says, "What should I do?" and he said, "Tell her you're a hooker as well. Maybe your rates will cancel out."
Yes, I love that. That's a good joke.
I was
funny.
like, I thought he would. Oh, that's another believable way these people talk to each other. They constantly call each other idiots, and I love that. That is real. You say that endearingly to someone you find funny, but who often says something not helpful.
Michael B. Jordan's always calling them idiots, but he means it. Which the audience needs. He does need it. Yeah,
yes,
he does love them, but the audience does need to know these guys are fucking idiots.
Oh, yes.
He calls his friend.
Let's also say about Mikey, he never buys what they're selling ever. He doesn't even do anything. He does something. I love that at the end of the movie, he's not with anyone. That was not the point. This is not easy. You can just be a good guy and find your way. You don't have to be getting a roster or settle down. Those aren't the two options.
Yeah, because the plot is sort of like they're trying to bring him into their world. You need a roster of casual sex, and he doesn't actually develop it. He just lies and says that he is doing it.
It's a perfect movie for showing what I don't understand, because this isn't really what it's like in the South for women. We are striving to get to that next milestone where I assume, especially for kids that moved to New York and they're trying to like make some sort of exciting thing happen, there is a ticking clock. You do at like around, I don't know, the first year out of high school, if you didn't go to college and keep being there, as soon as you talk to someone in high school, you're like, oh, I'm old. I'm old in a weird way I didn't expect. And then that clock starts ticking. I better get my life going. I better live it up while I'm in my 20s. And it's interesting to see a movie all about guys like clawing at staying in that cool. They just know the inevitable for them is I will settle down. This is our last breath. I don't know that I've seen any other movies that are really just about that.
So I think there's an attitude to like young people in New York for that, because the mindset there's most people are not going to stay in New York for a very long time. So you move there when you're 22, 23.
You can afford it right now.
And that's it. Like 30 max. And so basically what happens is everyone lives in the moment very quickly. Money comes in, money goes out. It's like, and so I think they are embodying that kind of lifestyle. It's like, we're going to play fast and loose with our lives because this will end, to your point on the ticking time. It's like, we'll move out of New York at some point.
Yeah.
And
it just doesn't make sense for, if you're not exceedingly wealthy, to have kids here.
Yeah. And so like, let's just do everything we can here. And like that leads into sort of their attitude of like, we're just going to do everything that we can. We're just going to consume everything.
Yes. It needs to look like a movie. I need to have stories.
I mean,
I can't find a great girl right now. Like, it's inconvenient. I don't want that to be my New York story.
That makes it a little more understandable when later in the movie, Zac Efron's like, he's falling in love with a woman and he's like, to me, it's like he's making up bullshit reasons not to be with her. He's like, but we made a pact. But it makes sense when you put it like that. Like, they all understand this, our time here is limited. We're on the clock is running out.
Well, and they keep saying it twice in the movie, you haven't been in New York very long, have you? Like, it's all about New York. It's all about, this is your moment right now. And the people that you've coming to replace are kind of salty. You haven't been in New York very long, have you? And then the people who just got here are trying to prove that they're supposed to be here and they're doing it right. You haven't been in New York very long, have you? So it's just like, yeah, that's an interesting.
New York is almost a character in the movie.
It is, absolutely.
My 21-year-old sister told me yesterday that she feels old.
She told me that the other day too, that her friends are getting married and having babies. I'm like, you're 21.
Don't.
But yeah, that's what that is how I felt too.
That's out of control.
That is how it's always been, and it's sad that that's still. I mean, I don't know why I thought it would change.
If your sister is old, put me in the grave right now.
Yes,
time.
Yeah, the funny thing with Zac Efron calls Miles Teller. He's like, dude, I think I'm with a hooker. What do I do? But Miles Teller's like, I still got the Viagra boner, dude, and I gotta pee.
God, the way he describes it, I'm like, I think I understand. Is it limp or is it hard? I'm like, oh, it's hard.
Yeah.
It was a complicated little. That's how you know there's improv here. You're like, that. There's no way that was written down.
So they're like, no, I think this was written down because the way it's it's almost like a set piece that they have to both mount the toilets the way they do, and they're like, oh, it's actually working.
One of them sexier than the other, Zac Efron.
Yes.
The sight gag worked though.
Yeah,
Yes.
it does.
It is good. Yeah. No, this movie has a lot of good jokes. And meanwhile, Michael B. Jordan's at Zach's apartment, jerking off in the bathroom using self-tanner as a lube. There you go. Okay, that's that sequence.
So he sneaks out of the apartment, and we don't know. We were pretty sure she's not a hooker, but wonder if that's coming back.
Oh, right, because he does. Yeah,
he does
sneaks
leave.
away in the middle of the night.
She's barely fallen asleep. I mean, this is right after sex. He just has a phone call. She's already fallen asleep. So anyway, so I get this is like fucking night one of this guy having just a horrible breakup with his wife, then a very awkward night out with the boys. He says it was like so fun, and I just want to keep that up forever. I don't know if he's lying or he thinks we saw a different night.
He's lying to himself.
Okay. But he, sad jerked off and ate ice cream, and now he comes out to reveal, look, guys, look what your way of life has done to me. My dick's orange. And they make one or two good jokes, but mainly it's the way Miles Teller, and I know this is like not appropriate, but I didn't know you could turn a color. Like, oh, he's the only color he can ever be is this.
He says your dick looks like a yam. Wait, I have a Miles Teller. Dude, your dick look like... I lost it.
The dude, starting with the dude was close.
Dude, I mean, he sounds sort of Keanu in Point Break. I don't know. He's like Michael B. Jordan's like, I want to call my wife and work it out, and they're like, no way, you got to be a single bro with us. And then they make a pact like it's American Pie or something.
Also, you're standing right in front of where the fucking sidewalk meets the street. He's like, move over this conversation.
Yeah,
they pledge that they're all going to stay single together. It's like the movie needs a plot hook, I guess.
Sure.
Yeah, it didn't need that plot point. I guess it's the only reason it leads to conflict is because of that pact.
That they have some sort of understanding.
But it has so little bearing on most of the actions in the movie.
Well, except for that, you see them immediately start. It's like they're making this pact with themselves. Like, no, you're going to waste your New York time. And then they almost immediately start fucking up. They all can kind of sense they're on this like precipice, and they're like, oh, don't.
And I guess to your point, it doesn't really explain Zac Efron stuff because his behavior is the same, whether the pact or not. Mm-hmm. But it does explain Daniel's relationship with Chels and why he is not pushing it further.
Mm-hmm. Something it's interesting about Mikey coming back. You assume they were three dumb, very young 20s guys that are all on the same page. But he finished his advanced degree, got married. He very, very much passed them up, and he did it kind of young. So maybe he's a little over. But he's not. He's already seen, no, that I like that better. I like the stability. I like being in a relationship. That's why he doesn't ever really buy into. It's kind of sad watching his boys do what they're doing, but it's also a little bit fun going back to this life for a little while. I just think it's interesting that he never buys into this being the right way to do things.
Yeah. And he's like, I like them.
Because he's seen beyond it. Even though it failed, it's still worthwhile to have something that's being recorded by another person's brain in a positive way. Not just, that's that guy that fucked me and then just disappeared. No one wants to be on your fucking roster. Okay. Okay. I mean, I find it a bit annoying, this kind of plot device, but whatever. The immediate next scene at work after these guys have had just a big old night. They're not hungover or anything, by the way. They go in to pitch their latest book thing. They're trying to win a bid to get a book cover. It's such a strange fucking job.
Are they trying to get? They're just getting the cover, right? They already have the publishing rights.
I don't know.
Yeah, because later they'll say like, "Hey, that the British lady who's trying to sound American said you can do her book cover," and it's like I thought they already did that. I thought they're like, "Yeah, finally we got the job."
Right, I thought they got the job. Now they're presenting the work. Anyway, I thought you were just the publishing company. This is just what you do here.
Exactly.
Not like you got to win these bids for covers of a book. Anyway,
I don't know how books work.
I don't either. So he immediately sees that, oh shit, the lady I thought was a hooker can't be a hooker. She's book lady, who I just immediately thought she just started the job here. This is a coworker. I did not think this is lady gonna give us job.
No, this is I'm 24 years old and I'm working on my third novel or my third book.
Yeah. So I mean, but these are all wealthy kids. They don't totally make that clear, but then you realize, okay, you're talking about the Hamptons. Look at this house.
Yeah, you make it clear that she's getting 2 points in that
the birthday party.
The birthday party. Ellie shows up and you can tell she's
Yeah.
And then Chell's family is like loaded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have the
Like
they
fucking
have a full
like
brownstone.
blue blood, like old money.
Yeah. So there's
Also, she's named after a part of New York City,
Did they say that?
Chelsea.
Oh, I didn't know that. I mean, that is a true statement. I didn't know if
that's
it was
on the
part of
Wikia.
actual movie.
That's on the
No, I
Wikia for
just
this
said it.
movie.
Okay. that awkward moment.wikia.com.
That's right, yeah.
Okay.
And her
It's not
her
this-
middle
it's
name
pretty
is
sparse.
The Village.
I'm Chelsea the Village Davis.
New York. Lady Statue Liberty.
But so Imogen Poots comes in. She's the author.
Dundix.
They're pitching her book cover, and Zac Efron's like hooker.
Right. Hook.
He doesn't stutter it. He writes it.
So
First of all, it is
big.
so big. And
Slides it over.
the fact that she could not see it, anyone could have read this.
As they're all staring at them. Yeah.
You know what? They're used to their wacky pitches. Maybe they think this is part of the pitch.
Subtlety is not a strength of theirs.
They don't
Jesus.
understand their methods, but they get results, so they don't question it. Anyway,
The more I think about it, Miles is just like maybe a support animal to Zac Efron.
Does he say words in that
Nothing.
pitch?
No, it's just like we
What
just let
is
him
his
keep
job?
it. He doesn't have one. We just let him keep him around. It makes Zac Efron feel comfortable.
his job is like, I'm just going to turn it over to you
I'm
now,
a wingman.
Jason.
Wingman.
You almost had it. That's close.
Thank you.
Wingman.
So she does the annoying thing of like, yes, I would like to understand the book. I'd like to understand why the man on this cover left the woman in the middle of the night and didn't leave a note or anything.
Okay, except for it does work with the actual premise of the book she's writing.
And then we cut to them having a conversation, and he's like, I'm sorry, I thought you were a hooker. And
Hooker
there were
signs.
hooker signs. What are hooker signs? And they go back and forth, rat-a-tat-tat-tat-tat.
And she starts over. What's a hooker sign?
Yes. He's like, let me make it up to you. And she's like, okay, here's my number. And he opens the number after she leaves and it says, go fuck yourself.
He amazed so many times in this movie when this is not realistic at all. Men would always push a little further, but it seems to be part of what keeps him like aloof and at a distance with the women to begin with, is he gives up real easy constantly. Like, okay, bye.
Yeah,
I think
okay, bye.
To your point about him being very hot, I think he realizes
She'll come around.
either she'll come around or he's like,
Or I'll forget
I
about
got
her.
the roster.
Yeah,
Right,
something.
right?
Yeah,
yes.
no.
Yes. There's no
he's-
stakes for
He
him.
doesn't have to put any effort in, and so he won't until he decides to. Yeah.
This is the point where they're like, we need to make a dude bro pact. We'll be single forever. And they toast with their unbranded coffee cups.
You know what? I feel like they're feeling their most dude bro slipping away in the fact that he liked a girl and that he called his bro and was like, I like her. She's really cool. I would date her. But she's a hooker. And they're like, whoo, jeez, that was close. Our dudiest bro, our broiest dude almost got in a relationship. Then I have to get in a relationship. Fuck. So that I just think it's kind of like, okay, pump the brakes, Jason. She's amazingly successful and not a hooker. Fuck. He is out of here.
Yeah, you need your scummiest friend to stay scummy.
Yes, keep your roster, man. Keep your roster. It's okay that I'm fucking a couple people. Okay, go.
Yes.
I think this is actually like a true psychology thing because, like, if the scummiest friend is single, then you're like, you can sort of point to yourself and be like, I guess I'm doing better than them.
Yeah.
Or
Oh, yeah.
we're on the same page.
Right.
But if
they
you
start
if
to
you
do
think
good.
you like in some friend groups, there's going to be the scummy person. But if they best you, then it's a real come to Jesus for yourself.
Yes. You're like, what?
You're like, what am I doing wrong? What's wrong with me? And the answer is a lot of things.
Right.
Michael's wife, Michael B. Jordan, his wife comes to the actor's wife comes to visit him at work.
There's another bad directing moment. Go on.
What?
Oh, maybe you're about to say it.
She comes in, she's like, hey, I'm visiting you at work, but not in a personal capacity, in a professional capacity, because I'm having a pain. And he's like, you just came here because you needed my doctoring. And she's like, well, yes, but also no. It's very confusing.
It's super confusing because I have no idea what they're talking about.
Is she saying she's pregnant? Is she saying she like what?
Is she cancer? Whatever. I mean, like they are clearly giving us a double entendre, but I don't think they're committing to either one of them enough to sell either. It's fucking strange.
So it's Chekhov's intestinal pain or whatever. Hold on to that, gang. So Zac Efron, he draws Imogen Poots a comic strip, which is like, hey, I'm so sorry. Yeah, and it wins her over. So they have coffee again, drinking the unbranded paper cups, and they talk. He's like, I want a more fulfilling line of work. Instead, I just design book covers. But
No, that's the point. He doesn't say that at all. She pulls it out of him.
Well, she pulls it out of him with the way she asks questions, the way that I should ask questions of you. It took Caleb to make me realize that's what I need to do. But yeah, and I wrote in my notes, don't worry, bud, this job's not going to exist in 3 years.
It doesn't exist when he's doing it either.
First it'll be outsourced, then it'll just be replaced by AI. But that's, again, this movie, this 2014 movie, it's the, it's the get that bag generation. Everybody has a great job with tons of benefits. And Laci and I both had jobs in 2014. We
chose to leave them.
I know we chose to leave them, but I don't know how much longer my job would have gone on for at least.
You were always precarious.
Yeah, well, as a marketing person, when companies are like, we need to look to eliminate some budget.
You just don't really commit. You don't like buy into that work culture. You don't become part of the family. So you're a little dispensable.
Okay.
And you have a bad attitude. All right, next slide.
Imogen Poots, the author, is like, I run an author's lecture series, but nobody comes. And then before they depart, she says Laci's favorite line, I don't like how well it's working.
Well, wait, because they go on the street where she says this is kind of her dream is to have the keys to Gramercy Park. Why? Just go to a regular park? But hold that in your memory big hole, because he's going to make it happen by doing mean things to an elderly fucking real estate agent and then never return the key, and that's weird.
Is on this slide, is this the plural of piano, or is this a typo?
Piani. He likes to fuck with us via visuals and then yell at us for responding to his slides. This is his thing.
Multiple pianos.
No, I don't know. It's from The Simpsons. That's piano. I said piani. Okay. I just play with the form,
Where is Mackenzie Davis from? She's very familiar looking.
From
Halt and Catch Fire.
Halt and Catch Fire from Station 11.
She was in the Terminator movie.
She knows her from Station 11.
I know her from Station 11. I know her from Hold and Catch Fire.
She's so good in Hold and Catch Fire.
I keep meaning, we gave up on that show. I want to go back.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Not for it being bad. We just tend to give up on shows.
We do that.
Right after our baby was born, we were watching that show.
Then the baby became a bigger baby.
Mackenzie Davis and Miles Teller, they're at the bar, and then she's playing piano because I guess that's what she does. This is a thing that never comes up again in the movie, that she's
rich,
plays the blues and sings. But it makes him look at her differently, like, hey, wait a minute.
Yeah, he is forlorn in this photo.
Yeah,
he is deep in.
Until now, I just thought you were like my hot friend, but also you can tickle the ivories. Okay.
And the singing, you never care about singing.
And the singing. It's true. He then goes to visit her at her apartment, and they banter about like how good he is at receiving blowjobs.
No, that was in the bar.
No, this is at the house.
They carry on that conversation in the house. Yeah.
And then they start kissing.
Well, she couldn't have sat any closer to him. Okay. I think they were both feeling this coming.
After Zac Efron, Jason.
This is such a weird. We didn't need it to be this graphic, this moment of doggy style sex with a lady that doesn't seem to be enjoying it all that much.
Well, here's what I like about it.
All right, give it to me.
After he leaves his romantic, wholesome date with Ellie, he's like, I need to do the opposite. So he hooks up, he has sex with this woman, Alana. And as they are doggy style humping, she says, so where is this going? And he gives his standard response. And she's like, I think you're an amazing girl, but I'm just not in the place where, that's a thing that I can do. And she doesn't say anything. And then he tentatively tries to hump again. And I think it's pretty funny.
Yeah, it's just pure self-sabotage behavior by him.
He's just like,
no, it's what he wanted.
Did that work? Okay, I'll just no. She's
and
not.
We're humping.
Yes, and then Michael B. Jordan walks in. Everybody's just walking into unlocked doors in this movie, and he's like, "Oh, hey, how'd it go with the hooker? What?" And she's like, "Hooker? You paid a hooker? You thought I was a hooker? I don't." She leaves, and then Zac Efron talks to Michael B. Jordan. He's like, let me tell you, when it comes to girls, you never want to have the conversation with the thing with the word so. And it's like, this movie's annoying because it's like, I already heard this. You already told me that, but now you're telling this character. Okay.
They also kind of like make you think Mikey's going to get with that or the lady that leaves the apartment later, maybe. I don't know if it's the same woman. Because they already set up the fact that in college, anyone that Zac Efron liked would actually end up liking Mikey. And then this lady's leaving dissatisfied because she just got the so talk. And hey, I like him better than you.
Yeah, what does he do? Does he give her coffee?
He offers her
coffee.
He says, "Would you like caffeine?" And she's like, "Oh, see, he offered." But that's, I mean, he's acting like 5% more like a grown up than he is, and that's like, she says to him like he's on the right track.
That's all people who look like Zac Efron need to do.
Okay. Yeah, if you could tweak it a little bit.
Yeah, just don't be a serial killer.
So before we go forward, this picture right here, I live 2 blocks away from this. If you went
By
2
Pete's.
blocks behind them, my apartment was right there.
What neighborhood is this?
This is Gramercy Park.
Try and keep up, Matt.
I did not live on the park. Let me just clarify.
This is just the neighborhood.
It's just the neighborhood.
Okay.
They all get to call it that.
The actual park is 2 blocks up to the left of where they are. In front, if you go 2 Pete's and then take a left, it's right there.
And how was this? Did you enjoy this?
This
Gramercy.
I did. I loved this scene. I was like, wow, this is right where I was.
Matt's asking if you liked living there.
Oh, I loved it. It's a great neighborhood. And I kept saying, I kept being like, am I going to be in the background of this movie? I'm not.
Oh. So they're walking through the streets, Zac Efron and Miles Teller, and they're drinking coffee. And Zac Efron says, "Did Chelsea work her magic with you?" And Miles Teller's like, "Yes, she did." And it's unclear if he's saying that he had sex with Chelsea or that Chelsea had helped him have sex with another lady.
Right.
It's the double. It's the double here. It's double
He's
meaning because Zach is clearly asking
about the wingman stuff.
Yes, and he is answering like,
he's not lying.
You know,
right. But me as the audience watching it 2 times in 2 days didn't understand. Is Miles Teller intentionally lying?
Yes.
What does each of them understand
Yes.
at this point?
Yes. He's worried about the pack. But he also wants to keep seeing Chelsea. So he's not lying.
Yeah, I think he's lying by omission here on purpose.
Yep.
So he calls up Ellie, Imogen Poots, and he's like, "We're going on a date tomorrow. Gramercy Park. Dress nicely. Don't ask questions." And she is so charmed by this. Would this work on you, Laci?
What does it mean to dress nicely? Like, she fucking tells him to dress up and he wears his cock out. I was like, ugh. I need more information. No. What if I had something to do? If I didn't have anything to do, I'd be like, oh, that sounds good.
I think it's always fun when somebody makes plans, like makes decisions for you.
Fine, but you knowing me and what a rule follower I am, if it had turned out to be this for the date,
this is no good for you.
I would have shot and killed him and then ran home and killed myself. I was like, we can't lie to that lady.
Because what do?
Oh, right. So he's pretending to be Raymond Fontenbottom, whatever, rich, Chelsea's dad.
Farrington, I think is the last name.
Okay. It's just
Von Farrington.
Chelsea's dad, basically. And
Right.
Pretending to be rich, and so he can get a tour of one of the fantasy houses for sale on Gramercy Park, because I guess he realizes like immediately she'll show him the key he wants. He just wants the key. I thought the whole date was just like, this is what your future gonna look like. You want to see what's inside? You said you want to see what's inside. Like, he's already doing something cool, even if it didn't need to fucking lead to grand larceny or whatever.
You felt very bad for the realtor. You're like, that poor lady.
Because she's talking to no one, and then she's looking for them, and then she thinks she did something wrong. And when does she realize she can shut the house? She thinks they're fucking doing a Home Alone too, hiding upstairs, waiting to. When does she know she can leave? That's
whole
the
day is
rest of her
shot.
fucking day. And just because she sells places that are well-to-do doesn't mean she doesn't have a lot of dependents and need to go home. And maybe her feet hurt.
If you wanted to tour a Gramercy Park mansion,
Zillow.
do you have to like submit a credit check or something to get a tour of a mansion?
How
does that work? Does anybody know?
It does seem like a waste of time. And you would have a lot of looky-loos.
I don't know. I think you probably have to get in touch with the broker and deal with that. And they may do some background stuff to be like, is this an actual buyer or not?
But this seems like a brownstone situation.
Yeah,
These
this is a whole building.
Right. So these things don't go up for sale. These things, before they even hit the market, someone from your family's already bought it. Like, these things are like grandfathered down. That's the whole point. You can't get these places, right?
Oh no, you can.
No,
there's one for
okay.
sale for like $12 million.
Yeah, most of them are owned by like Saudi sheikhs.
But they do.
Sounds
and they're
delicious.
empty.
They do sell. So I for some reason continue to look at New York real estate, even though I don't live there.
Laci loves looking at real estate.
And there's this one apartment for sale on Gramercy Park. Comes with the key to the park. It is $900,000.
Okay.
Does not have a kitchen.
No,
It is just
a hot plate.
living room, bedroom. Not even a bedroom. It's a studio. So it's living size bedroom area, and a bathroom. And I don't know who's buying this, but it fascinates me. I keep waiting to see if someone.
I'm gonna
buys
go
it.
look that up. Yeah.
Well, again, it's all
Okay, but that's a sliver. You're saying these big ones.
Yeah. This is the whole house for sure.
But this would happen. These aren't like so sought after that they'd sell before hitting the market. Like I'm saying, there's like word of mouth. Like
This they'll go on the market. 'Cause
Okay.
Sometimes they'll ask for a lot of. They're gonna ask a lot of money for this.
Gotcha.
So this is gonna go in the teens of millions. Could you imagine if you had teens of millions of dollars? Just buy the park, kick everyone else out. You know?
Okay, so yeah, this park where it's like, oh, if you live here, the best part about living here, you get unfettered access to this private park.
Unfettered.
Unfettered, I say, my boy.
which just means like there will be no homeless in it. Like that's all.
Yeah, I mean, how good is it? Have you been in this park, Caleb?
Okay, so I have not been in this park, but one day I was running really late to work, and I walked by the park.
The door was open.
The door was open, and I stood there for about 10 minutes being
Should
like,
I
do I
cut
go
thdo
inside?
Right.
Because if I go in, do I
I get out of
need a
the
key
right.
to get out?
Right.
I know you need a key to get in. I don't know if you need a key
I'm
to
gonna
get
be
out.
double late if I have to double back.
Exactly. And so I stood there for about 10 minutes, and then I was like, I gotta go where my boss is gonna yell at me. So I had never went in the park, but boy, I should have. I should have gone in. I
Zac
don't know what I was
Efron
thinking.
was sitting right there.
Yeah.
How good could this park be?
It's not. It's just about the fact that you get it.
So it is really nice, and there's
It's trees and benches.
no
guys.
one else there. So that's the key thing. It's like if you just want to go like relax in the park, there's probably
Fine.
at any point in the day there's probably 10 people max.
But you're gonna be running into other people who have a key.
Yeah.
You're in this weird club. You gotta talk to them now.
Yeah, you're gonna be
They're all gonna suck.
good sir.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, you're new. Did you get the $900,000
Okay, this is a
sliver
good point because I was
apartment?
going to suggest, Caleb, what you should have done is you should have just gone up to another stranger in the park and be like, hey, I left my key at home, sorry.
No,
and
they
just
know.
assume.
No, there was no one in there at the time. The other thing is you can get access to the park if you stay at the Gramercy Park Hotel, which is right there.
Oh, okay, so new faces happen, but I'll bet they have a wristband or something.
Yeah,
You have to have an identification.
And they can go down the water slide.
Doorman comes and lets you in at the hotel.
Oh my god,
This
They
is-
have access to the key and they let you in.
All right. This
this is wild.
I'm not saying we need to nuke
This is
part
truly
of the city.
this is fantasy land.
It's just exclusivity.
oh,
That's
yeah.
it.
Go check out Zillow for the stuff around the park.
going
Laci. You'll
to.
be wild. There's a $36 million penthouse.
But how
for
shit
sale.
to be the person who's like, fuck it, I'm doing it. I'm spending the $900,000 to not have a kitchen. And then you get in that park and like the fucking, fountain bottoms are like, you bought, that's cute. Did you want to come cook on the barbecue pit in here?
That is
Just
exactly
kidding.
what would happen,
Just kidding.
yes.
There's no barbecue pit in here.
But you know the saying in real estate, Laci?
Location.
Worst house on the best block. That's it.
Yeah.
Rather than the best house on the worst block.
You just build out, you just attach a thing at the top. Right?
Yeah.
It's a garden apartment. You'd have to tear into the floor of the people above you.
You ask nice.
They're on their date
Oh
in
my
Gramercy
God.
Park.
This is the worst part of the movie by far.
And they're talking and Ellie is like, she's like, when I was a kid, I loved parks.
Time out. Because until this moment, they've done a decent job of giving her soul and interest and brains. Until here.
He's like, did you also like television and food?
Okay. No, he goes along with it.
He's like, whoa, really? And she's like, but my ex-boyfriend, he hated parks. He thought they were too public.
To have sex in? And whose life are you trying to lead here? Because why are you trying to get the most exclusive, unpublic park ever? Are you still thinking about him, Ellie? Huh? You still in love with him?
I think she's trying to just stunt on him. I don't think she's necessarily in love with him, but more of like a, guess what? I got access to the park and you didn't.
That's right. So now it's not weird that I go on slides.
It's the only park you would ever have liked, and now I'm here and you're not.
Because he's like, well, babe, good news. You can come back anytime you
Caleb,
want.
Can you have a birthday party in that park? If you own the key, can you like have a little
That
event?
I don't know. I don't know the rules of.
Can you bring in your own riffraff?
Can you get married in there?
Again, don't know.
Maybe
those
you should
rules.
get signature.
Look, when I win the lottery and buy that $900,000 kitchenless apartment,
Yeah.
and get that key, I'll let you guys know what the rules are.
If you
thank
got $900,000 for no kitchen, you could just get DoorDash
That's true. I
every
mean,
day.
That's right.
yeah, I mean, yeah, needs are taken care of. But again, most of the apartments like that, it's for a Russian oligarch to own.
It's that
It's Airbnb, baby.
my other guess is it's either you can Airbnb it or it's for someone super rich who lives in Connecticut or Jersey, who
Right,
needs
they're
like a place in the city.
yeah.
And it's like we're in the city for the night. We're going to spend the night at our Gramercy Park.
Which
Okay.
I know
yes.
people who do that with New Orleans, like tiny little places. It's just like you weekend party and then sleep here, and then there's not an issue with, and it's just like a nothing apartment.
There's a bathroom for Mardi Gras.
Yeah, that's
Sure, yeah, but it's
counts.
more about being able to like stay the night in the city and not have to think about it. Now here comes the big fucking problem.
you don't like when I'm just not like other girls, you know.
It's just so toxic. It's such a fucked up thing to say. What's wrong with other girls? And also, maybe you guys just need to be not like other guys. You ever think of that?
No, truly, these characters have never thought like that.
No, I know. And it was just such a thing. I've been told that many times in my life. Oh, you're not like other girls. But all that meant was I let them sexually assault me with their words and their actions, and I didn't get bent out of shape about it. That whole like, what kind of girl would I be if I didn't find the fact that you thought I was a hooker funny? I don't know, like every other girl in the world. Well, I guess I'm not like other. Like, you're literally saying it. Yes, great. Yes, treat me like a piece of shit, and I can only have money because I'm fucking. But like, oh my god, video games! Like, you know how many girl gamers there are who like to drink?
That's one of the super dated parts of the movie is sort of this like very like Tim Allen 90s sort of sexual politics. Like a woman wants to play video games and
Bang,
likes
bang,
to drink
bang.
alcohol.
She know how to spell scotch and drink it.
They come in and sorry, I left out an important thing. Michael's calls his wife Vera into the hospital, says we need to talk. She arrives. She thinks he's going to tell her that she has cancer or something, but he's like, no, instead, can we talk about us? And she's like, yeah, the problem is you were never spontaneous. And he's like, spontaneous? I'll show you. And then they have sex in a bed in the hospital.
Naked. Just have clothes sex.
That's a HIPAA violation.
Absolutely.
But it's funny because they're naked in the hospital bed, but when Mackenzie Davis and Miles Teller have sex, they only do it
wear
fully
clothes.
clothed.
Yeah.
Even when they're totally under covers. Every time I made a note of it.
I think the actor has big nipples.
That might be it. So back at work, Jason and Daniel, they bully their coworker Fred some more. And then he tells them, you guys, good news. You've been given the assignment of designing Ellie's book cover. And it's like, I thought they already had it, but okay.
Right.
So Ellie calls Jason and she's like, hey, my lecture series is poorly attended. I'm feeling very sad. And he's like, well, if you're sad, you can come over to my apartment and have a drink. Even though he's playing video games with his buds and it's like dude time. And then she shows up and they're like, dude, you invited a girl over, but this is dude time. And he lies and says he didn't invite her over.
Why does he lie? That's so strange.
And Michael B. Jordan is lying to them about, they're like, you had sex. I can tell. I can smell it on you.
Girl.
And he's like, yeah, was it Glasses Girl? And he lies and says yes, rather than it's my estranged wife.
He just smiles. He doesn't.
Yeah, well.
But.
A lot of lies of omission here.
Yes.
Yes,
Except for
okay.
Zac Efron,
Twice.
who directly lies.
Right.
And then Ellie comes in and she's like, hey, I'm not going to harsh the vibe in here. I'm just a cool girl, jumps on the sofa and
In the middle.
bros out. This is, 2014 is also year of Gone Girl, and Amazing Amy has the speech
I was
about.
about to make a connection to.
Oh, okay, cool. The cool girl. I made myself be a cool girl. That all.
It just means you'll take less for longer. That's all it fucking means. And like, you can talk as bad about other women as you want me to. I'm gonna be even dirtier than y'all. I'm gonna say the worst fucking shit about women you've ever heard. That's what I was. I just have guy friends. I don't really like all the drama. Like, that was another big thing.
I also have guy friends, and I love the drama.
Right. But we weren't allowed to. We weren't allowed to be a girly girl. But it's like, but that's all you guys want to fuck.
Well, it's you keep them separated, as The Offspring said. You keep your dude bros in here to play video games with, and you go have sex with the girly girls in there.
Okay.
So, and then Ellie tells Jason she's throwing herself a surprise birthday party.
Oh, it's a dress up party? Yeah, like a doll? What the fuck does he think?
And she gives him a little kiss on the cheek, and his friends are like, "Oh my god, dude, you're so I don't know. You're whipped. You're
screwed.
You're in the relationship now. You're trying not to. But what about the bet?" It's a bet. I don't know.
I know that was a pack.
They meet up with Chelsea at the bar. She attempts to hook Miles Teller up with another.
No, she doesn't.
With another woman. Yes, she does.
She half-heartedly. She does nothing. She does not do the, hey, he's in high school. He needs to be. She doesn't do the full thing, and then he gets kind of like thrown off too. Neither of them really want the wingman. They're both doing performative wingman because they're keeping up a ruse, and she's testing him to see. Am I your wingman or am I your girlfriend?
Did you think she was testing him? Did you think she was testing him?
I don't think she was
She was
testing
hurt.
him. I think she did it because she wanted to keep up appearances in front of everyone else. But
And cool girl.
She was very happy when he did not respond to it.
Yes, but she was hurt when she thought he did want her to do it.
Correct. So, but I don't think she was testing him.
No, well,
I think she did it without like being like, let's see what he does here.
But she's also in this trap of needing to be the cool girl. That's why the whole time she's like, I know. What are you going to say? That you don't want to. I know you don't want. She keeps saying it so he doesn't have to say it.
Yeah.
And it's just to like soothe him.
Gotcha.
So yeah, we get the first of many scenes where they have sex in their clothes, and then it's time for the big dress up party.
Hilarious. I am so fucking embarrassed. And I guess they needed to knock. I was like, okay, this is actually kind of smart device to knock Zac Efron down a peg. Like, come in here and totally embarrass yourself. You heard costume party somehow, and you picked the douchiest fucking costume. It says rock out really big on your shirt, and you've got the longest cock out. Wow, that is hilarious. And a headband, so trashy. And I just keep thinking, just take your cock off. Pull the cock off. Why would you? And he's just strolling around, and I'm like, okay, so he's just gonna say hi, and it'll be weird and awkward, and they'll move on, and then it'll be something she can kind of like make fun of him. It puts them on a better playing field or even more even situation. But no, this fucking magical white man just warms the entire party to him, even dips his cock in his mom's drink. They seem to have zero personality, but they're laughing. He has one cute moment kind of with the dad. It's all over the fucking place.
He's like Pauly Shore winning over with the stiff dad.
But these things aren't stiff.
Now the dad's like, I want to munch on some grindage with you, Jason.
The dad was never fucking stiff. That's why she likes him. They're fun. The dad's just rich. He's funny. He has a sense of humor. There's no warming up. It's just like, oh, we can just talk. Like, it's nice that you're not one of these people here, because I like to just kind of talk too. That's all. It just.
Can we talk about the scene before this?
Yes, please.
When they go to purchase the
dildo,
items.
yes.
That serves no fucking purpose.
I thought it was so funny. Their interactions with the clerk cracked me up.
Because it is what it's like. He's haggling him down and down. It's like, we're not even.
Yeah, he's like,
who are you negotiating with?
And then he says, it comes with an extra balloon. Why? In case you try too hard. And they're like, what the hell? I just thought that his deadpan delivery of all of his lines cracked me up.
Yes.
They were just so confused and so fish out of water in that store that I found it very funny.
The handful of times I've been in a sex store, I have found the people working there are like that. Or not necessarily, but they will just be very blunt about
they have to. They can't
the uses
giggle
for things.
like a schoolgirl. With it's serious.
their job,
People
yes.
do take these things. It's okay to have pleasure, and it's not a fucking party toy. And this stupid asshole isn't even buying for what's intended. It's like, oh, I got a cock.
That's why it's so it is interesting. Like, this is after the gay panic era, but like they still got the remnants. So, you know, the guy's like, what are you two gentlemen doing here? And they're like, oh, we're not together. But they're not like disgusted at the idea that they're together, but they still need you to know.
Fine. I don't need the two coolest guys in the room continually leaving somebody out on their joke. I just don't need it. It's annoying. Like, you guys are already ruling this room. You don't also need to be like, who are you even talking to? Like, well, he works here, and you're touching his fucking shit, and he's telling you how much it is, and you can tell the sale is slipping away, so he's lowering the price. You're talking him out of the cock. He's giving you a lower price. He's talking to you.
So he's doing his job. He's doing a good job.
He can tell when a sale is flying out the door.
And just to be clear, I just liked how deadpan he was.
No, I know.
He was serious.
He's a very funny.
To your point about how it actually is. But
it's an enormous success. What do you know?
Montage.
Zac Efron's big cock made everybody like him. And we have more.
Wait. I mean, kind of matters, right? That like he says he likes her dad, and she says he liked you too.
Yeah.
It's just a little abrupt what happens next, but whatever.
He says like, I like this one, Ellie. I like her. And then later, Zac Efron to her says, you know what? I like your dad.
I feel like I
does she whisper it like that?
Said that, but yeah. All right, and okay, so back to all the scenes with Chels and Miles, whatever, are very sweet and cute and frustrating in a very familiar way, but they feel very much like the beginning of a relationship with someone you already knew. I don't know. Works for me. But he's very all in, but just not with his friends, and he is kind of lying to her. But I don't know. It doesn't feel like one of those like you lied.
But what do they say?
Oh, sorry. She was just kind of casually like, so what I'm curious, what did Mikey and Jason say when you told him about us? And that, he didn't tell him about them. He didn't. Well, he
makes a funny joke. He says they're very happy for you.
Yeah.
Which is funny. And she laughs. Funny. She's always laughing at the things he says, but he is being kind of evasive.
Right.
But he does lie. He definitely makes her think, yeah, I've told them. They understand what's going on. He's like, oh, okay, great. All right.
They're cool with it, or they're happy. Just they think neat.
Then the three dudes are at a bar later, and Mikey lies to his friends about who he had sex with because they can sense the after sex glow on him. Mm-hmm. It's kind of funny that he's like lying about. He's like, I'm having all this sex, but it's just with his wife. Dude, you had sex with your wife. So Jason gets a call at the bar from Ellie. He's like, I'm not going to pick it up. I'm out with my dude bros right now. It's time for us. And Miles Teller's like, dude, you got to pick that up because she might need you to get diapers or tampons. But they answer the phone and he finds out Ellie's father has died. Remember that guy from one scene ago? He's dead. They start debating, hey, should you show up at the funeral or not? And Zac Efron's like, if I step foot onto the funeral grounds, that means we're dating. And Michael B. Jordan correctly points out, oh, okay, so you're an asshole.
Yeah.
Because yes, obviously you have to go to the funeral, you fucking idiot. Like, even if you're just casually hooking up with somebody, wouldn't you go to their dad's funeral? Like,
okay, I don't know about that weirdo.
Yeah, I think you have to at least acknowledge it.
Yes.
It seems like he doesn't say anything.
Or says like, is there anything I can do?
Yeah.
And if she doesn't,
can I be there for you or something?
Right.
Yes. Yeah. So this is when he starts.
She's calling you right after it happened. You are on her mind.
Yes.
That's the indicator that this is something she wants your help with.
And so him choosing not to go, that makes him way more of an asshole than anything we've seen so far in the movie. Yes. It's like a big divergence from how he's behaved.
It's an active decision.
Yes.
Which is worse.
And which is why he works and is able to live the lifestyle he leads, is because this very rarely happens to him. He's just so kind of evasive and passive, and bring the girls to him. He doesn't go to them, and all these things.
It's Thanksgiving. This is a thing. We should have done this movie for Thanksgiving. And Michael B. Jordan's cooking a Thanksgiving dinner for his wife. As he waits for her to come home, he goes into the closet and sees a coat that belongs to the other man. He's like, wait a minute.
It's so weird to me that I was like, I don't know that I would immediately jump to the fact that they're still fucking. You've just not been here a while, and that guy has been here a while, and I don't know.
I don't think he immediately thinks that, but he plants a seed in his head, so he's gonna ask her about it and be kind of an asshole about it, but feels like I'm allowed because she cheated on me. Also,
he's kind of making a lot of assumptions that just because we are still married but we're separated and now we're fucking again, that doesn't mean we're not separated anymore. That doesn't mean that we're going to be fine again. That this spontaneity doesn't make up for how does a person of that age go 6 months without having sex? That's insane.
He's too busy being an ER doctor.
That doesn't make sense. He's partying his ass off. He can make time. So there's something very bland and boring about whatever they've got going on. They do not bring out anything in each other. They're just both attractive and check boxes. It's a believable problem.
Which she says. She says he says. She says yeah, I've not stopped having sex with him. We didn't talk about any of this, and he's like, why is our marriage falling apart? And she says, we've never talked about having kids, or why haven't we ever talked about having kids? It's because neither of us actually sees a future together. And that's a problem. Also, I don't know you. And this is way more serious than anything else in the movie. It's kind of a jarring swerve into a Noah Baumbach movie. But
the other guys are going through the motions of being single, and I think this is a good juxtaposition of what it looks like to go through the motions of being in a relationship. It just feels right. You're adulting your ass off with med school, and now you're an actual doctor. Well, successful doctors don't have time to date, but they can be married to a beautiful lady, and it's just I think they just kind of organically did a thing and kept going. When there's no good reason to break up, that doesn't mean there's not a reason to stay together. And I don't know. I think it's a good kind of balance to how you can go through.
That's a good point. You know, both of you are making me like the movie more.
High five, Caleb.
But yeah, no, I like that. You can also be going through the motions of just being in a relationship.
I was worried they would try to make her look like a bad guy, and maybe they kind of think they did, but it's a little neutral.
Yeah.
I think when I saw this, if I saw this in 214, I'd be like, "What a bitch!" You know, I think that's how I would have felt. But I think it was lightly handled here, so because it's totally fair. You purposely didn't have any kind of conversation with me while we were fucking again. Why did you assume that meant anything?
Just like you made all these assumptions when we were married. You're doing the same thing.
You're still trying to avoid the hard part, which is, does this work? Shouldn't take this big traumatic thing to make us fuck again. And we shouldn't have to do it at the hospital, which is just totally gross. So that it can be fun. It should just be fun.
So, yeah, now it's the Thanksgiving sequence at Mackenzie Davis's family's mansion. And Mackenzie Davis...
It's incredible. Their house is incredible.
Yes.
It looks like a library.
Pulls Miles Teller into the bathroom. She's like, I've been wanting to rip your clothes off ever since you got here. But that's incorrect.
That's cute.
They only have sex when they're clothed. In turn, so they start to have sex in the bathroom. And then Zac Efron shows up and, like keeps happening in this movie, just walks into the bathroom, which is unlocked.
But wait, that's normal. It was unlocked.
Yeah, well, it's weird that they didn't lock it.
They make a point to say it, Matt.
It's weird that the movie uses this device over and over and over again,
Okay.
is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And then he sees them having sex. He's like, what are you doing? Oh my God. And Miles Tellers immediately is like, don't worry, it doesn't mean we're in a relationship or anything. And then Mackenzie Davis is like, what are you talking about? You lied to me? Was I a freaking bat? And then Michael B. Jordan then comes in and he's like, what's everybody's doing? So they all reveal all their annoying secrets and lies to each other.
And there's only one bathroom in this massive fucking place.
And just to clarify, Michael B. Jordan has brought a 40 to this mansion party. So the family has already shown their sort of dislike of Daniel and Jason and be like, these people are below us. And then Michael B. Jordan shows up with a 40. I'm sure they just got all their worst thoughts out.
Yeah, like they probably only live in a $900,000 apartment on the park.
That's why he gets all of his alcohol in one bottle, because there's no kitchen.
But I was thinking, like, I like Mackenzie Davis in this movie. I like her. I think she has good chemistry with Miles Teller. But I was wondering, like, it would be interesting if she were more a member of their group and had her own, like, independent
philosophy, agency.
Well, yes.
Well, how did she end up here?
Like, it's kind of nice that they just realize they like each other and that's making them settle down. It's kind of like the show You're the Worst. Mm-hmm. But I kind of wish she was also like a chauvinist or also like had the weird debauched life that they lead.
Well, she definitely just seems like a debutante. And, you know, she just lives that club life. That's how they met. And she's just got to be unlike the other girls, not trying to settle down right away, not just kind of wanting to do her own thing. She even sings at clubs, so it just made sense. They club hop all the time. I guess I'll just hang out with you guys.
So I think they have a version of this character that you want in Ilana, the person that Jason is hooking up with.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
Because remember, at some point in the future,
whatever you're doing is not what we're doing.
Yeah, she goes, that's not what we do. We don't talk about feelings. Like, we do this, and then just leaves.
Yeah.
When he wants to talk about feelings.
Yeah. It would just be interesting if you had a woman
more fleshed out version of that.
Who also embodied that idea. And so that it weren't so, because I've never been friends with men like this. This is not my world. It'd be interesting to see,
how do you rationalize it? It
would be interesting to see a woman who lives life like this and has this, the roster and the philosophy of hookup culture and all that.
I just hate that it all has to be built on tricking people. Like, oh, your shoes, I like them. This guy's in high school. Ew. Or, if there's guys out there that want to just hook up and there's girls out there that just want to hook up, they all just needed fucking Tinder. Like, it's just like, how about we just find the people who want to be doing this instead of tricking girls onto your roster?
Is that another thing that makes this movie a time capsule? Because Tinder wasn't so
well, no, just because
ubiquitous?
It's predatory. You're seeking out girls who are out there who you don't know they just want to hook up. You're assuming that they're getting the same enjoyment, except for when fucking that one girl comes in who gives you the later on, is like, really, Jason, after midnight? Like, I have been a booty call before, only one in one relationship, and I did think it was more than that, just to find out when I broke up with him that I was his fourth favorite. And like, it really fucking pissed me off. because
Yeah,
it was
that's not good.
it was
That's
a
not
very inconvenient relationship because he worked at a restaurant, so the late nights seemed like they made sense. But I woke up early. I worked at Sonic. I was 19, so they didn't go well with my schedule. But I was thinking, oh well, he's just calling me when he can see me. But like, it was always there was always going to be sex. He was always going to have a reason to leave right after, or I needed to go. And it's just like, how did I not realize? And I wasn't like that into him. That's why I broke up with him. It was only, a month, but it was gross that I didn't know I was one of many.
Mm-hmm.
So just be clear. Don't say you're not looking for anything serious. Say, I'm also sleeping with other people. Do you want to be one of them?
Even that is like a sort of interesting gray area that the movie's not that interested in exploring.
These girls are very disposable.
Or
Roth.
how like the Zac Efron even like weaponizes like the gray area, the things we're not saying, the unspoken rules. He doesn't go to the funeral, and then he tracks down Ellie, and he tries to just do his charms.
I liked this part where he tries the charm again. She just immediately shuts it down. She's like, no.
Her eyes are something.
The deep blue.
The way that they do the darkness underneath, when they work, they are piercing. Yeah.
Well,
They're ice blue. They're not deep blue. And that's why they look like a wolf.
She says, I think she's really good in this scene. She says, you weren't there for me.
Right.
On a day when I really needed you. And she gives him back the Gramercy Park key. But you said she shuts him down. I don't even think it's not like that aggressive. It's like she's let down and disappointed.
And here's what I need from you.
And she's
do
hurt.
it or don't do it.
But she's like, she's not saying like, oh, you're an asshole. Oh, you're a villain or you lied to me or anything. It's just like, I'm disappointed that I didn't understand who you actually are.
Yeah.
Right.
When I say shut it down, I think it's like, she is like, we're not even going to get close to playing into this.
Right.
Like you are stopping what you are doing and I'm going to say how I feel.
Yep.
Yeah. And then the scene with Alana, who, like you said, he starts to try to open up to her and she's like, oh, no. We don't do that.
He's not talking to his friends because he doesn't want them to say he needs to get laid. That's not how he feels. You're sorry. Your title on this is, for some reason, I'm not talking to my friends.
Well, because this is the 3 minutes of the movie where they're no longer friends because they had their big fight at the bathroom.
Sure.
So yeah, it's just that the only person he can talk to is the older man in the bar, and then Alana. And he's like, oh, okay, I guess I should get back together with my friends. So he drinks whiskey and eats ice cream with Mikey.
I like that 2 months goes by. I like that there's time to like settle into whatever's happening in this phase of their life. And it's not just like, wait, no, I want you now. I kind of get you. I'm going to do a big gesture.
Yeah, before it jumps ahead, like he goes and reconciles with Miles Teller.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, if you're in love with Chelsea, you need to go be with her. And he's like, but if I'm with her, then we can't go do our debauched hooking up all the time. And he's like, well, that's okay. I guess I still like you anyway. You're still my friend.
Right. And now we're in a different movie. You get hit by a car. Like, what? Did he need to get hit by the fucking car?
Yes, he did.
Okay.
It's so good.
I mean, I'm usually going to laugh when somebody unexpectedly gets hit by a car.
Because I think he's giving a thumbs up as he gets hit by the car.
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
But they're like, Miles Teller, who's been an asshole the whole movie, is now suddenly like, well, look, I love the way she fake laughs because she knows I need it. Mm-hmm. I love the way our crotches are the same height.
Yeah.
So he's saying all this, and Zac Efron keeps like undercutting it with jokes. He's like, okay, that's weird, but whatever. It'd be nice if they could just be like nice and sincere with each other. I'd like one scene where
they are.
They are. This is as much as you get. But they're still undercutting it. Mm-hmm. But the next scene, they're all the three buds are in the hospital, and then Mackenzie Davis comes in and she's like, "What were you thinking?" He's like, "Well, I was running to you to tell you that I love you." And then they start smooching. And Jason watches closely as he sips his scotch.
Right.
And then he actually whispers, he's like, "Do it, kiss her."
Stop.
Kiss her.
Stop it.
Michael, meanwhile, leaves the room and triumphantly calls the glasses lady. Finally. Okay, now it's 2 months later. And
the only thing impressive about this big grain gesture that he does is that he remembers it verbatim. I was prepared to not like it at all, but Zac Efron goddamn figured out how to make tears in his eyes. So
what Laci's referring to is that they're like, well, I need a way, like, it's a romantic comedy I'm in, to do a big symbolic gesture to win her back. Well, why don't you go to her author's lecture thing that she always does? And he's like, great, she'll be honored that I'm there because nobody's ever there.
Yeah. Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Why is it so filled this time? Is this the author that she got?
2 months has gone by and she knows what she's doing. It was always going to build to be a thing.
Okay.
It just was slow going. These
Yeah.
things always are. It's a word of mouth situation.
I meant to look up if this is a real author too. Is this just a big get?
Rafe Larson.
No. This is meant to show that like she's a real person who's got skills and has plans for her life. She planned on making this a bigger deal. It only took 2 months and it's become a bigger deal. I don't need you to be a chair filler. In fact, you're interrupting. This is kind of fucking rude.
Okay, yes, I like that. I like that read.
The correct one?
Your truth.
No.
They show up at the lecture and the Rafe Larson finishes reading his book. And Ellie is like, does anybody have any questions or anything? And Zac Efron's like, I'd like to read something from, and he grabs a book off the shelf from my own novel. That's kind of funny. And the real author is like, he shouldn't be doing, and they're like, let's hear him out. Listen to what he has to say.
Yeah, get him.
So he starts reciting the stupid shit they said at the beginning of the movie.
Except for he knows if like that moment was kind of important to him, or he just has a crazy memory, new skill unlocked. I was into it. I was prepared to not like it.
I mean, yes, he's showing her like, look how important you are to me.
Yeah.
All your words are precious and dear to me. Okay. And then she starts filling it in, and we'd play beer pong.
Well, they
Murray
exactly
Hill.
switched the script.
But I realized this is the director of the movie. Like, my own stuff that I wrote is so powerful that when people say it to each other, they will tear up.
It's like when like the best lyric in a song is, you hear it and you're like, okay, I hope they don't say it again. Like, no, it's the fucking chorus. They knew it was good. Now it's bad. No.
Disintegration.
Stop it, Matt.
So, and he's like, and if you agree with all of this back and forth, please meet me in the special place. And then we see him where he was.
Why are you doing riddles, man? You have the key. She doesn't have the key.
Where he was. No, he gave her the key. No, but she gave it back to him. That's right. And then
it took her 4 hours to get over the gate. That's why he was sitting there for so long.
We rejoined him at the beginning of the movie. We all long since forgotten that the movie opened this way.
No, I didn't.
And then what do you know? She shows up and like, all right, here we are together. This is a great relationship. Goodbye. That's the end of the movie.
Wait, no. You forgot the real end of the movie.
Is the bloopers.
No, he literally just goes, so.
Right.
Oh, right.
That's what he wants to have.
That was a good callback. That's like a nice thing.
Okay, you're right. That is, fuck.
Because the tables have turned, and she made him wait 4 hours. But again, she was climbing a very tall fence. So.
Now he's the girl. Okay, that's good.
Yeah, I thought that was a nice thing.
Yeah.
You brushed past it.
Yeah,
Sorry,
Matt's an asshole. It's a Matt hole. Okay.
All right, we're gonna go around the room.
the bloopers. I like that.
What do you like about them?
I like that it shows the actual chemistry and the actual like. What were the thought? How did this maybe go? Did they enjoy making this movie? And I like that.
To me, it always seems a little desperate. Like, see, we had fun.
They didn't do a fucking dancing ending, which is your least favorite.
Yeah, this isn't the worst thing to happen. We're going to go around the room and give our final thoughts and our star rating out of 5, starting with Caleb. What are your final thoughts on that awkward moment?
This is a movie that will never get made again. These kinds of movies don't exist anymore.
But that sucks. That's another
This is
thing
his moment.
I know, but I forgot to say this. Like, I think a part of what works for this movie is like, hey, it's just people. People just like talking and stuff.
It's incredibly low budget. It's just all they do is put people in a room.
Yes.
There's no. Well, they did hit Miles Teller with a car, so that's like.
Well, but they filmed it on New York City streets. Like, there's real craft involved in that.
Yes, and so like it's a movie that won't exist again. It reminds me of my own youth in New York City, and so I give this a 4-star rating.
4 stars. Wow. Okay.
5 stars.
Laci, what about you?
I realized why I liked it much more through talking it out and how balanced it sneakily is. Actually, it despite its problematic moments, it's still full of heart, and the girls are not pathetic in this movie. So that's a big deal. They have interior lives, it seems like, ish. So I gave it a 3.
I think that I was going to give it 2.5, but both
It's
of
funny.
you.
That's the bottom line. Is it's
Yes.
funny.
The best thing about the movie is I really like the cast. I think there are a lot of good jokes. With a better director, a more seasoned director, and a better script, this would really be a special movie. But I think you both made such great points that I'm now going to bump my rating up to 3.
Yeah, you had a fucking 2.5. Piece of shit.
And I like that you pointed out, Laci, like the women who you think are going to be shrews or whatever, they all don't necessarily react the stereotypically shitty way a woman character would react. They're all behaving like real people, which I like. So I see a better movie in this that I wish was there, but it's a charming movie. I'm glad I've had a great time talking about it.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Yes. So 3 stars. This was a good time. Thank you for bringing this to us, Caleb.
Yes, thank you, Caleb. I'm not bored. I'm just tired.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Anyway, next week we will be next week. Well, first of all,
Happy New Year.
This is coming out January 3rd. Okay.
Oh, happy birthday to my brother tomorrow.
Yes. Happy birthday, brother. Patreon. We have a Patreon now.
Oh, I forgot about that. We should do something for it.
And the first episode is out. It's about Get Out. And you can hear that by paying $5 every month. And you get that bonus episode plus another bonus episode on the 15th of each month. This month, we will be talking about the Apple TV Plus show Severance, recapping the first season of Severance.
Since the new season is coming out, that show fucking slaps.
Yes, it slaps.
Shut up, Matt!
And link in the description to do that. But
Please
next
support
week,
us.
Please,
Won't you?
we need it.
You've got $5. We've got pockets.
Next time on the podcast, next
our
regular
crotches
episode,
are the same height. Your money, our pocket. Okay, I'm done.
we fit hand in glove.
I said we're done.
We're doing my best friend's wedding on the podcast next week.
Yay!
Laci's pick.
It's one of my movies. I know
Yes.
it. I know it verbatim. This will be very annoying for you. We might need to watch it in separate rooms.
Okay. I've only seen this movie once. I saw it in a college class on
yeah.
screwball comedies.
Talk about your pick-me's. My best friend's wedding is like the epitome of I'm not like other girls.
I still don't really understand what that word means, but we'll get into it next week.
It's pick me. I'm different. Pick me. I will do what it takes to be not annoying like these other things that you don't like about women. Oh.
I said to my teacher at the time, I was like, it's almost like this movie has sort of a Greek choir or Greek chorus, whatever it's called. And I thought the teacher was going to be so impressed. And he's like, yeah.
What are you talking about?
You'll see when you watch it.
Okay.
Anyway.
Do they smash plates? Okay.
Follow us on Letterboxd, Matt Stokes 9, Load Bearing Laci, and the music on the show is by my band Rural Route 9. You can hear our music on Spotify, Apple Music, or wherever you get your music. Caleb, is there anything you would like to plug?
Like your butt?
What? Hey,
the sex door talk was earlier. Okay.
we stay very on topic.
No. No, I don't think there's anything I'd like to plug right now.
Okay.
I can't be bought. I'm not a corporate shill.
No, but watch this space. Stay tuned. Big things coming. Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you,
we love
Caleb.
talking to you about
You're
this movie.
a delight.
Thank you for coming to our house in our garage and talking about the movie for 2 hours.
Anytime.
Okay.
In 7 years, I'll have a completely new hair follicles and different taste buds. That's how often they replenish.
And I'll bring a movie you've never even heard of. And then we'll go into it.
Oh. Okay, I love you. Goodbye.
3, 4. Everybody, love bearing beans, 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 Spider-Man, love bearing beans, love bearing beans, love bearing